All right, so hi, this is the Drupal usability meeting for May the 16th. And we discussed ahead of the meeting that we want to look at settings tray UX issues that could use some review, an update to views and block operations. And I will mention an issue around workflow that Tim has to take a look. So I think let's start with the settings tray UX issues then.
Or should I share my screen? I don't know how you guys usually do this.
I think that would be the best, yeah.
Okay. All right. You guys see it now?
We have 4 issues here. I can see our hands.
Okay. Let's make sure I got nothing I don't want shared. Okay, so there was this issue, finalize.
Refine finalized design to discoverable feature.
Yeah, so the last time this was sort of commented on was, actually, no, sorry, this is not the introduce finalized behavior testing. Let me look down at the bottom and see if this is the one I commented on. Yeah, so the last time it had left off 9 months ago was that there was a set of sort of must-haves within the issue. And I had sort of remarked that, well, a lot of these are completed. There were some, as far as moving the user link to the left or to the far right, and then possibly also having the tray for the user menu open up over there. I was hoping that didn't have to be a final UX sign-off for the settings tray module, because it seems sort of unrelated. I mean, it seems like a good idea, but there's already an issue for it, I think, against the toolbar module. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what people thought about that. That would be one thing that I would definitely like to get off the plate as far as like making the settings tray module stable. I guess so. So I'll back up a bit. We have the introduce settings tray module to be stable, and there's a bunch of must-haves for basically getting the settings tray / outside in module done. And the stuff that I put in that spreadsheet was two of them were the must-haves for UX, and this is one of the must-have issues, but it's actually like I guess 9 sub-issues. So I was hoping we could make this not a must-have because all of the must-haves within inside this issue are taken care of, or I think they are. Maybe this would be part of what I wanted to bring this up. The user toolbar menu is an important issue, but I don't think it's necessarily for settings tray. Is this the kind of meeting where, because I don't really have a good idea where I get sign off to say, yeah, that's not a must-have for a particular module as far as UX consideration?
So I think that would be a combination of the release managers and the product managers to review, but we can help with whatever direction there, or we can help inform the decision of the product / release managers, and they will rely on the UX team to provide guidance.
The other one that just see the one that Boyan, that makes sense. Let's discuss in a follow-up. Was number 4 awesome account? That's the toolbar one again. Clarify. So I guess the one that the toolbar being blue, if we look, bring up so right now when you click edit, it makes the toolbar white, and this is always blue, no matter if you're in edit mode or not, and it hides the rest of the elements. So I guess that was never finalized in this issue, and it was still a remaining sort of thing we have to get done. So yeah, I guess I would like, I don't know if anybody here was on those original discussions as far as does anybody remember if there were reasons, other options besides this current plan, this current recommendation?
Are there other options as in?
Well, I guess this was let me see what Boyan said about it. Is not a, so he's saying, is this not a deviation from how we treat other items? I know we're trying to make it shout, but this might conflict later on. I would rather not do that, but let's leave it up to Kevin to decide.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was just last week, and this was one of the things we were going to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
I thought today. I mean, I personally like, I guess it would be up to each theme to, if they wanted to override blue in particular.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, it may not even be shouting if you have a blue header.
Yeah.
It's more like blending into the blue header, I guess. And then it very much depends on what theme you have on the site, whether it's shouting or not. So it's kind of hard to tell.
Okay.
I guess it is shouting against the white and the black to some degree, given that everything else in the toolbar is grayscale.
I mean, does anybody know if themes generally override this toolbar color? I've never seen that, but
other than Morton's, I don't think.
Okay. No, usually they leave the admin alone.
Okay. All right. The other issue that I wanted to look at was, and this is sort of like a larger, there was
I've seen overriding this toolbar, especially. I think there's actually a module, I think only on Drupal 7, but it's for separating, for distinguish the different stages, the different, for example, if you have the website installed on a local.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. What is that? It's the environmental indicator thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'll have any conflict there.
And you can actually specify the color, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but I think anyway that it's just a background for the tool, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The other issue I wanted to look at, so there was just a general sort of issue, and this is also another one that came, I think, was before I started working on it. It had mostly been talked about before, I guess 5 months ago. Again, like right when the module was being made. And we had a bunch of, I guess there was discussion in this one issue about what should show up when you open up the settings tray as far as the items here. And what we went with was to hide everything, or to not render most of the default block settings, as far as, well, I guess most of them are visibility settings is the big thing that we took out. And then we took out the machine name, and we took out the region selection, because I guess we thought it wasn't, in this case, it wasn't like a good match to move the region from the edit here. And then we added some particular things, like say if this is the menu one, it adds menu particular stuff. But I think the issue on the issue here was, is it right to sort of not show the larger menu items? This is sort of a big sprawling issue. And also the idea, do we want this sort of advanced options down at the bottom? So most of what you're seeing here is the default, or what is currently implemented. The idea I had for this issue was one, if you click on a block like this search block where, actually, I'm gonna look at this one, the branding block, where the branding block doesn't show the title of the block, the label of the block here. So the change on this issue is to not show the title of the, basically, if this isn't checked, if we're not currently showing the label of the block, don't show the text area, because it's sort of confusing to have that there, site branding, when you don't actually, and it's something you can, so by default, it always shows up. And then even if this isn't checked, you can change this, but when you save it, you don't actually see anything different because that label is not displayed. So my idea here was to only show the text area if this is checked. Otherwise, you're kind of not seeing what visually, you're changing something that you don't visually see a change on the page. Any thoughts about if that's a good idea?
I think that's a good improvement.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Okay. The other thing that I'm changing in this issue is for search block. And this is sort of something is more like a pattern, like how do we handle this? Where the search actually doesn't have much, obviously, unless you show the title, because there's nothing you really can configure. So we have the save search form, which would have no effect unless you show the title and saved it. Actually, maybe search by default shows the label. I can't remember what the default action is, but obviously, if I had this, it would make an effect. So next time I reopen it, it would have the label shown by default. If I take it off, it's gone. But the other thing is for things like search, which if we're trying to sort of draw people to other configuration, I had the thought of adding, a link to the relevant configuration on the back end besides just the block configuration. So in this case, we have two things. We have this, which would take you to this actual block configuration. But then if the reason you clicked on this is to actually configure the search, that block one doesn't do that for you. So the thought is to add a link here that would actually take you to the search page, search configuration page. I haven't implemented any others. The ones that the aggregator module, I think has similar, I would have a similar thing where, which I forget what the aggregator blocks do, but potentially there would be a link to configure that particular aggregator item, I guess. Or, do we not want to draw them to that kind of related stuff? Or is the placement wrong? This link.
I think it's always, to me, it seems like a good idea to at least provide a link to other more configuration options. So, yeah, I don't think that setting straight should, in that sense, be a dead end for configuring. So, showing a link or, two advanced configuration options make sense to me.
Okay.
So now in this particular screen that I'm seeing site search configuration and advanced block options.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's maybe not so nice that there.
Yeah, but then how do you so the original?
What's behind the advanced block options again? Visibility settings? Or?
Yeah, okay. This is the whole block configuration form.
Right.
But we have seen in multiple scenarios now that there's a link above the submit button and below the submit button. That looks a bit strange. So if those links would be grouped somehow, that would already be better, I think.
Yeah, I think having the site search configuration below the save form button would make sense.
The search one?
I think it would be good to have some kind of pattern that all links that navigate away from this tray, that we put that together.
On the bottom?
Yeah.
That on first look, that makes sense, right? You save what's above the button. All other stuff is below. So then we're also staying inside this like setting straight quick edit mode, right? Quickly change this and save it, or link to jump to other places for advanced configuration.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
Put that note there. Move.
That would be nice if we could implement it for all cases, because I saw it multiple times.
Yeah, and I have to say, I still sometimes am surprised that there's two paths, right? There's stuff for the block and there's stuff for the contents of the block. So it's the block options with all its visibility settings.
So this site search configuration is actually a new thing that I'd be introducing in that issue. So if that's maybe not a good idea, maybe I'm just sort of thinking like, okay, there's no label here, so you click this and there's absolutely nothing you can do for this site beside this block besides change the title of the block or display it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, if I'm really thinking like, oh, if I just installed this and hey, this is a search form, how does Drupal do search?
You're connecting dots.
I don't know. Maybe like it's kind of like a dead end. If what you are looking for is search, this is a dead end. If this link is not there.
Yeah.
Was my thought.
Yeah, so the overall question
if what you're looking for is block settings, then it's not a dead end. But without this thing here, and I think this is sort of like, that's what I was saying, it's common to a lot of blocks that really have almost no configuration themselves. So the form is kind of empty, but there's an obvious possible intention of the user would be, hey, this is search. So what's all this search stuff in Drupal? And
Could we even combine this with help links, for example?
I mean, I guess one other option, or not, like maybe an addition would be down below here, a description, like, of what this block does. And the idea that, oh yeah, and this block allows you to search your site, Drupal, yada, 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 search stuff. And then, then have that. Because I guess if you're new to Drupal and you just see these two kind of advanced looking links, I don't know, is it maybe it's really not obvious which one you should click.
Why are we using advanced instead of more options? I mean, they are not advanced. It is that we are doing a quick edition, and maybe just advanced search operation will have points.
So naming it more block options would also be okay.
Hello?
Hey.
Can you hear?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Can you also hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I actually had just the same thing. Are you still hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're hearing each other.
The circles say he's talking.
But back to the issue, I think in general, I think it's a good pattern that from the inside out with the simple settings, you can go on and go to more advanced settings or more options. So it's a way of learning Drupal then, I think.
Yes, I really like it because we're connecting the dots, right?
Yeah. So that was also, if we make a group of links, so we could
hear me
also
now?
potentially add a help link that
Hello?
links to a help
Brad?
menu.
Hey, there you are, Ted.
Do we still have those in Drupal 8? The help
Which one?
pages?
Sorry. Help. Yes.
And can people find those help pages?
We don't know. Well, actually, there is some info about that, but I don't know at the top of my head. Yes, Ted.
Is that back?
Oh. Yes, Ted. Hi.
I don't know what happened. So I was talking about the, I don't know when the last time you guys, what you guys heard.
I think we started discussing, I think Christina mentioned, should it be advanced block settings? Should we maybe make that another label? And I was going to ask that if we have some list somewhere of the kinds of blocks that Core provides so that we can do this exercise for all types of blocks. Do you have that?
There is not a list that I know of. I mean, there's one that could, I mean, you could sort of generate it, but I mean, we could go through the modules and that Core provides and look at the ones, but there's not, that I know of, there's not a list for Drupal 8.
No, okay. But it would probably be useful to do this exercise at least for a couple different kinds of blocks to see what the general pattern could be.
Yeah. Okay. So I was wondering if I should maybe separate this out from the determined field ideal order and visibility, because I kind of feel like a lot of what this issue was besides that advanced link was what should we show from the block form, which I don't think people have been debating. It seems like getting rid of the visibility settings, the machine name, and the region was a good idea. And at some point, we just have to go with it. I mean, I feel like that was what was discussed in this issue. So I don't know if other people feel like that was sort of a UX decision that was made and we're okay with that, or is that still up for debate?
Because the regions, we would get to assigning a region when we click the advanced block, right? Link?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And the thought, I think, with visibility settings is if you do visibility settings, then you could potentially or very easily hide it from the current page, and then it's really confusing.
Yeah, that makes total sense because, I mean, we're updating. Even if you change the title, you change it on all the pages, it occurs, but still you're changing that one block. And I think if we start playing around with visibility settings and wildcards and patterns for visibility settings, then it's okay to move out of the setting of this page because we're talking about this site then, how this block behaves on this site. So that too makes sense to me. And I like the switch of first having the checkbox to actually display the title. So that one seems fair enough as well.
Ted, could you share your screen again, please?
Yeah.
We mentioned the labels, and when you clicked the branding block, could you click it again for me? So this is about branding, site details, site name, display title. Yeah. I don't know if it could be confusing that the display title is about your site name. I'm not sure, but maybe it's better to rename it to display block title or something that you're really sure what is it about.
I think that makes sense because it's because really like it's confusing for the branding block because we do have site name, maybe it's related to title, but also we don't really know what's going to be in here because other blocks in the future could put different stuff in here. So I think title could clash with other stuff we haven't seen yet. And Contrib is going to hopefully use this. And so maybe, yeah, really pointing that out, that this is the block title would be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had another thought. I don't know if it's already discussed in previous discussions, because you were talking about the blue button in the top left. I think it looks polished, but everything of the tray module looks polished. But I think the very white, bar at the top, it doesn't look finished. But maybe it's just me. But if you enable the editing mode, everything is, we even have a new dark theme for the tray and all these things. And then we have this white bar, and okay, is this still not finished, this product, or what happens?
Yeah.
It's just my feeling with the design. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Would it look more finished if it was more delineated from the page? Because I feel like part of the thing that looks weird is the black is really obvious separated from the page, yep, unless your site's black, but how we're looking at it now. But then because we have other white sections of the page, I don't know, it almost doesn't feel as separate anymore.
Yeah, it's just such a big difference. The first time I saw it, I thought, okay, is this? Do I miss something here? Are there things lost now? And then I thought, oh, maybe they did this especially to indicate that we're in editing mode, so we want a big contrast with the design before enabling the editing mode. But I don't know. I would like to hear what the thoughts were about that.
So let me add one other thing that's sort of hopefully related, is that there's a remaining issue to add a message when you go into edit mode that says, you're now in edit mode, something, what that means, you know? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that would make it clear why the toolbar changed drastically. I don't know.
I do remember that this whole state button switch and that little place block link there on the right, that was, I think we agreed that it wasn't all that well thought out just yet. It created a place for these links. It also showed us that toolbar, current toolbar, does not scale to really accommodate these kinds of links.
Yeah.
So I think I'd agree with that this part is visually the least finished, but yeah, it's not broken. It's not.
No, of course,
it's just not nice. It's not nice yet. And that message may help. Yeah.
It's such a nice feature, and everything looks so polished, and only that thing stands out for me. But yeah.
Well, we'd need a designer to look at it, right? If we
yes.
have opinions on it, if we can provide suggestions, all the better.
Okay.
But don't. I mean, it's relatively separate, right? It's
yeah.
It's not a blocker for other things, or even just a blocker.
Okay.
It's just not picked up, and it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. I guess my takeaway is on a couple of these issues, I want to close the sort of larger determine ideal field or invisibility, because a lot of this stuff I feel like is finished, like a lot of the sub issues, but then we have some smaller issues like I guess this doesn't really have to do with the toolbar, but you know, like the label, the show hide the label, the you know, where the advanced links should be. But I don't want to leave like this major sort of UX issue out there that has a whole bunch of stuff that's already finished as like a blocker for this module for some of the smaller things that maybe can be follow-up issues. So yeah, I'll update this issue with my thoughts after we're done here. I think that was all yeah, the only other thing is like the inform the user, and I don't think there was ever like particular wording that was determined. I think all we had was you're in edit mode prompt, and I don't know if that is good enough or there needs to be an explanation. And if there is, I don't know if the explanation should be just hashed out in the issue queue, or if people had thought about how we sort of get to what a good explanation is. This issue right now is postponed on, there's an issue to have a common way to get JavaScript messages on the page. But I guess deciding what the actual message is not necessarily need to be blocked on that.
That's true.
And there was the related issue is, when you're in edit mode, inform the user or they're configuring something that changes the current page. And my thought is that should be sort of pulled into the you're in edit mode, should display it at that time, because that's in the current way settings tray works is pretty much everything that you're going to open up is going to affect something not just on the current page, like site title. Obviously, you start editing menus, block labels are going to change places. So I don't know if we want to basically just encapsulate that all into one message when you first go into edit mode, versus trying to somehow put a message every time you open up a form in the settings tray and give the message there.
No to the latter, I think. I
Yeah.
would try to combine it with the general you're in edit mode
The introduction.
messaging. Do we remember why we thought we needed to do this? Because this happens all over the place, right? And we never
had
explained.
talked about it.
Sorry.
We had talked about it in relation, I know, to content layout and to place blocks, because you could be editing blocks that are only on that page, and that's nice to know. But then in cases where people are editing global blocks throughout the site, we thought they might want that information.
But Emily, you're saying in context of content layout, there may be blocks that are only on that page.
Right. And that's the only time that I've heard people talk about this so far.
So, but this was on there originally, I think, before content layout, where the idea was like, this was like a must-have for the original settings tray module, was inform them they're configuring something that changes more than the current page. And I do kind of have that same, or I don't know if somebody just said this, if the idea that that's the default in Drupal is you're editing something that's going to change.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can just say you're in edit mode and sort of be short and sweet about it, and I don't know, improve that message, keep it short.
Potentially stupid question. When we're editing stuff, are we editing stuff other than blocks in this case?
Not in well, so
not yet.
well, you are, in the sense that part of what we want to do is, surface stuff that's related. So the site name, it's shown in this block, but obviously it's the actual site name that you're changing.
Yeah, but it's a block.
It's right? Something that's shown in a block.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's
yeah, and same thing with menu. So obviously you're changing
it's a menu inside a block.
Yeah. But
and then click edit on content is editing that content.
Yeah, and the content is, I guess I don't even have any content in this site yet. But that's not going to open up in the settings tray, at least right now. Let me just make a piece of content. And so there's the quick edit, like quick edit is, you can get into quick edit from being in edit mode, but that's sort of just trying to make the original quick edit sort of work the way it worked before. So, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I was asking about, are we only showing blocks, because then it would be relatively straightforward to say, well, any changes you make are indeed applied to all the places where this block pages.
Oh, so as far as like in the tray, what we're showing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right now, all
the messaging around changes propagate to all.
But I guess we won't know what contrib will do. Maybe.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. So right, if we sort of hard code that message inside the same, you're in edit mode now.
Yeah.
Does that break when we can make it specific, right? Because right now, well, it's only blocks that we're changing stuff for, so we can say something about, well, your changes will apply to all pages where this block is used. Does that break once contrib starts adding stuff, doing stuff?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably a separate discussion, but with the content layout, there was the thought of having actually like different modes in the toolbar. So potentially, if we made that possible and content layout was a mode, place block was a mode, then they could each have their message about what happens in this, and then we could potentially encourage people, if they want to integrate with settings tray, to have the integration be provided in your what we call the off canvas mode of your block, so that it's configured through what's displayed in your block form. Because that's sort of what we're doing on menu. If you could think of menu being a contrib module, they would just add this particular stuff here, the actual menu items within the tray form. I mean, I think if contrib starts to make other sections of the page sort of clickable, that will get really confusing and really hard to pinpoint what the user is clicking on, because presumably in Drupal 8, like almost everything you see is displayed from a block.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what else they would make clickable that wasn't a block. Right now, web form has integration with settings tray. This site, I have web forms integration, and they actually, the way it works is you can't actually just click on the web form. You have to actually go in here and open up the web form this way, and then you can edit stuff that they've designed to work with settings tray there. This is, they're just starting to work on it. I don't know. Yeah.
Back to the thing about whether to show a message.
You want to get rid of issues, so yeah, I think just make one message, generic message, and if contrib wants to do something else, we should just have a possibility that they can overwrite the message or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, I feel like I've taken up enough time. Thanks for all of the feedback. So I'm going to say for this configure, so I'm going to probably close out the other issues, just one message when going into edit mode. All right. Okay. Well, thank you.
Can you let us know in the Slack channel if when you've updated
these issues?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. All right, I will stop sharing.
Thanks, Dad.
Yep.
All right, so the next one I think was the bulk operations.
Okay. Then I'm gonna share the screen. Okay.
Yep, seeing that.
Okay.
Can you zoom in on this one, because we only see, at least I see it small.
A small column. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Much better.
yeah. Thank you.
Then from the previous call, where we chose the option between the standalone filters in page, that we chose this option, the one that only has a bigger input. From that comment, Clara shared some options and some things that you can find in core. Like, for example, when you have a view in core, you're always going to have a level if you're using views, and you can't actually change that. We can't actually change that, because otherwise people will be a little bit lost. So taking that into account, what I've done is to do small research around core. I've uploaded an image because I don't know which is the best way to share a list here, with all the options that I've found in core, having all the modules that I could enable. So I found 5 different situations, and the first one will be the filters coming from views. Those are the ones that we can't change, or we shouldn't change, at least they should have the label, and they couldn't have the placeholder. That's actually another thing that Clara shared, because there's no option currently on views. And what I've done is to share, I've just seen that here these images are with actions above, but anyway, I'm going to change it later. What we have here is the standard filter with this one is for content. Then this one is where something is already filtered, that we have the 2 buttons here, and the current search just appears here. And another option is when you have several filters and you add some custom filter, or you just change the custom text button, that just to show that there's the option that anything just goes down and jumps to another line. Then another option is the standalone filters in the same page. When you are filtering things that are on the same page, that you don't really need a button, it's filtering at the moment. And here it just some notes from the previous meeting, where we agreed to have the magnifying icon here with a lighter color. I've proposed this one because I looked at the one on the Struber icon issue. I don't know if it's maybe it's too light. And also something that I didn't remember is that Roy said something about an animation, and I don't remember exactly what was the comment.
I'm not sure. That was me. Maybe that was Christian. Where he had some idea maybe of I don't know what the magnifying glass would be doing, but
maybe just changing the color.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a could have. It's not a must have. I think. So.
But I think you are also right that the contrast is not high enough for accessibility.
Yeah, last time we found it a bit too contrasty. Well, we'll find a way, middle way.
Okay, perfect. I'll work on that.
Satan alone filters. You have satanic filters.
Oh,
Satan!
great. Okay, then these filters I just change a little bit how they show, because right now we have these filters, just to check it quickly. We have this fill set here, but it doesn't respect the margins and the background color. So I guess we should open an issue for that, or on the design.
Yeah.
And finally, the another one will be the only actions that it should be only apply the design that is already there on this issue. We already have a design, and the last one will be having filters and actions together. That actually the only thing that we should do here is to keep in mind the space between them. So that was all. What I'm going to do is to change the color here and change the images. And another thing is to talk about the filters that we should remove. I was looking, and the only ones that I think they have something that could be actually removed will be the people and content pages. For the people, I think it should be only the permission option. Here we have a lot of permissions, but I think the other ones are really important. Both the name or email, the status, and the role. I don't think we should remove them.
Can you click on the permission one? I'm realizing I never looked at it. Okay.
Yeah,
that's a crazy option.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never filtered by that.
No.
Working with Drupal for a lot of years.
As long as if we don't have any search option for long lists.
Yeah, this is not necessary either. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, should be able to drop that.
Yeah. And for content, I'm gonna say that language will be the only thing that I might take away, but actually we don't have any languages here, any language enabled here.
Yeah, why is it showing? Is it?
Yeah, that's so by default. Maybe I don't think I have. I maybe have the module local, maybe, or language enabled. I don't know which one. I don't know if by default. No. Not sure if it's by default or it's just my installation right now.
Gabor, why is the language filter showing?
Maybe default.
Yeah, it's default. Yeah.
I think there's an issue to make it conditional, but we don't have a thing to make it conditional. The feature is missing. I think.
Yeah, the thing
And
is
it's still possible to have things that are a different language, even though you don't have a language module.
Okay.
yeah, if it's done with views, the thing is that if it's added with views, it will be always there.
Yeah, views cannot really do conditions in the config, so the exposed filter itself would need to be conditional, and we don't have that.
Yeah.
There are some contract modules that can do that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's an issue to one-off implement this condition for just this exposed filter somewhere, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And is the reset button going away when you reset, or what's actually happening? Okay, that's cool.
Just have this one.
So
I don't think I would remove anything other than the language. But,
yeah.
so what do you think? Removing the language will be a good option? And just
I think Gabor said that if we want to make, because we do want to show it when actual multilingual content is available, right? So we would have to make it conditional on something, and that something is maybe not there yet. So maybe,
just keep it there.
and Gabor said there is an issue for it, possibly. So
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah, the thing is that we cannot add the language filter when you enable the language module because the configuration is supposed to be managed by the site. So like we are not supposed to reach back to your existing views when you enable a module and modify your existing views on your site. That would be magic and unintended, and etc. etc. And you may have changed your view to be very different, or you may have cloned it to be another view and you're using the other view instead of the original view, and so the whole magic would not work and could lead to problems. Or you may have added the language filter already and whatever. So we cannot really change it afterwards. So we decided to add it up front, even though it may be only needed when you actually enable language. But I think there's an issue. I'm not finding it right now. I'm trying.
Okay. So
what happens now if you click on language? How many languages do you have? Okay.
All the things.
Not specified, not applicable.
Yeah, so those 3 languages are built into Drupal, so.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree it should ideally be hidden if you don't have more than one language on your site, more than content in more than one language. I agree. It should be an issue somewhere, but I'm not finding it.
Okay. Well, we just can, since this one is for design, we can just try to find this issue and link from here, or just forget about it. Or
Can you show your list again, Christina? The one you put it issue. Yeah.
Do you know if is there any other way to share here a table? Or
yeah, either a table or a link to a spreadsheet in Google Docs, but
yeah.
There's one more at very least. It's the recent log messages in reports.
Yeah, that's a huge.
Yeah, that has the multi-select.
Yeah.
It's not the.
Yeah, it just.
Yeah, it's a very pretty one. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's multiple, so.
Yeah.
These arrows.
Oh, that's maybe a styling bug then. Or not? I'm not seeing that actually.
What do you mean?
Oh, you have the black arrow inside the box, the little black triangle.
Yeah, it's in the middle, not in the top.
No, it's not even showing for me in Firefox.
Oh.
Maybe a Chrome specific thing.
Artifact. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found the language issue in the meantime. It's 2475 3989. Lack of dynamic language field filter makes shipping core views hard to be both compatible with mono and multilingual. That's the issue.
Could you share it on Slack so I can update it on the issue?
I did that, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It needs reviews, so there's some work already on making it dynamic.
Okay, great. Then I will. Do you know if there's any? Sorry, just lost. Yeah. Do you know if there's any issue for this filter here to be designed? At least margins are the background for here.
Not aware.
No, I don't know.
But at least this one is already showing the submit button to the right.
Okay, then I will do a research and I'll create an issue. All right.
Could you show me option B again, or the type B?
So you mean the B is the filter, this one.
Yes. Okay, so there's no submit button there.
No,
No,
because
this is the live filter.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I was trying to apply this big input here, but it doesn't work because the button is too small for it, so it doesn't have any sense.
I think we're nearing the point where we need somebody to help you implement this. Because I think we're starting to get a good grasp on the whole playing field of these filters and
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Then I will upload all this information now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if we can do the auto filtering thing, it will be huge, because even in Contrib, nobody can manage that really nicely for
Okay.
text input.
Okay.
Okay.
That goes all for me.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes past, so I think it's good for today.
Yeah, nice work, everybody.
Yes,
Yeah, congrats.
certainly. Yeah.
Thanks for all the feedback.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Daniel.
Bye.
Bye.